gonna do collar grabs. What happens if you're a woman walking down the street and a man or another woman grabs your collar? Now, why would somebody do that? It's to show who's in control. It's to get you to do what they want you to do. It's not an attack move, because if that was their intention, they wouldn't engage both their weapons in controlling you. They would let one weapon free in order to punch you or attack you. So that's the advantage you have in this technique, knowing that both the hands, both the attack weapons are already in use. So we're gonna break this technique down. We're gonna show what's practical, how you can execute this, and what you can do before and after. So let's do this. Okay, so what is the first thing you're gonna do when this attack happens? Now, here's the kicker. The first thing you wanna do is not get into this in the first place. Okay, it's about proactive techniques, not reactive techniques. We want to make sure we walk in a strong body language, have good posture, a strong voice if we're communicating with somebody, and have very good self-esteem, because they can detect that this person is not to be messed with. After you have those three things, your likelihood of getting bullied are going to drop significantly. Over 80% of women, or just people in general who are bullied, may it be in school, at work, or otherwise, the reason behind that is that they are disempowered. Bullies only target weak people, not strong people. It's an unfortunate reality. So we are going to work first on building up our strength. Empowerment is the first step in this process. Okay, now that we have talked about our proactive technique, let's talk about reactive technique. I'm gonna break this down into small, easy, bite-sized pieces, and then we're gonna put it together and do some pressure training. Okay, I'm gonna have my partner come back again, and he's gonna grab my collar. This time I'm just gonna face him, just to make this easier to practice. Okay, so the first thing that happens when somebody grabs your collar and controls you, they pull you in towards them, and that lifts you up just slightly. If you noticed, one more time, right? I'm on my tippy toes now. So that is a challenge, because now he can push and pull me around, and I don't have much control. So the first step to this is when I feel that coming, I'm gonna plant my feet, get into my defensive stance, and if you haven't seen the stance video, go ahead and watch that video. So I'm gonna plant my feet, sink down. So now my core is engaged. If he tries to move me around, I'm actually much stronger. I am in control, not he. That's the first step. After this has been done, we're going to immediately, it's not in order per se, use my voice. Maybe the voice comes first. Maybe it takes you a few seconds to unfreeze. So maybe you get into your stance first and then your voice. It doesn't matter which comes first. For the purpose of this video, stance first, because even if you freeze mentally, your body is going to remember the stance. And the second thing we're going to do is voice and say, hey, stop. Okay, has to come from your core, from your belly out. And that is going to startle your attacker and loosen the grip by 10-15%. It's going to make a difference, because they're probably not expecting that. They're probably expecting, ah! Okay, so it's going to make a difference, I promise you. And in this case, not just the voice, I'm going to add the third thing on, or 2B, eye contact. Even if you're not directly looking into his eyes, if that's intimidating, looking, his chin a little bit up high above with a strong eye contact. That will intimidate them a little bit, okay? Now we're going to move on to the next step. If you notice, my hands are already up in my guard. That's already part of my defensive stance. I'm going to use this to pry him apart. So the easy way to think about it is, show it one-sided, okay? I'm gonna use my core to disengage, right, pivot, and same thing with the other side, core to disengage, but it doesn't matter, okay? If slapping is my technique, again, I don't want to engage my shoulders, my core. Even if I'm pushing, it's with my whole body. I could do that. Really depends. It doesn't matter. Any technique is okay as far as you're not doing something crazy like this and turning yourself away, which wasn't even effective. But let's assume I don't know, people teach all sorts of crazy techniques, right? So maybe I do this, which is also fine. As far as I'm not turning my back to my opponent, I do not ever want to, yes, do that. And most likely he's gonna grab my ponytail. Let's put it all together. Hey, stop, okay? And push at the very end. Hey, stop! Of course you can get fancy with this. Come on out, come on out. You could do all sorts of fancy things. But remember, if you don't have any training, you're not gonna do that stuff. So you might see some things like people coming across, turning over, grabbing their face and chin, jaw, choking them out, taking them on the floor, kneeing them, punch, 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 punch. If you see that, tell them I'm sorry. I can't do that. Okay, this is ridiculous. Keep it simple. The KISS principle. Keep it very simple. Now, here's something I want you to leave with today. This technique that you saw today, it looks very simple when you're watching it on YouTube or any other channel or platform. But when you start to execute it, practice with your brother or sister or whoever you're practicing with, a friend, you might notice that it's really hard to execute. How does Fawzia pivot? How does she use her core? Well, I have 15 years of experience. This is part of my natural body. This is how I move. This is how I lift things. But for you, it's not the case. You are going to struggle with this. So the purpose of this video isn't necessarily to make you efficient and teach you, but it's to make you aware of what you can do. Awareness is important. At the same time, if you want to become efficient at these kinds of techniques, you need to learn with a coach. So please go find a coach. I highly encourage you to do that. If you'd like to explore my program, I do have a free 1-hour masterclass that teaches several self-defense and empowerment techniques against strangers on the street, being in bad relationships, and aggressive coworkers. So if you'd love to take that training, the link is in the description below. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Have a strong, empowered, and safe day. See you in the next video.